Hey guys, it's Thomas here, and we are on the second part of our decoration episode. On part one, I talked a little bit about the theme I was going for this tank, talked about the different components I'm going to use to try and achieve that theme, including some driftwood, some faux stone, the substrates, and that gorgeous 3D background, which is now silicone in place, like I said it would be. And now we can start doing the fun stuff, which is putting the decorations in the tank, because it's still looking kind of bare, and I don't want those fish to go in there and be like, we didn't even finish this place. What are we supposed to do here? So when it comes to starting off aquascaping, there's different points you can start from. If I was using real rock, for instance, I'd probably put some egg crate down to protect the bottom of the tank, get those big rocks that are heavy in there first so that they're sitting evenly and they're not affected by the substrate, and then put substrate in. In this case, because I'm using faux stone that doesn't weigh anything, and I generally like to put in driftwood last, I'm gonna start with the substrate. Like this stuff right here. Here we go. Sizers. Now, I definitely want the sand to be most visible at the front of the aquarium. So I'm going to try and start with the sand at the front of the tank and then move from there. Carob Sea substrates come with some biomagnet clarifier. This is so when you fill the tank with water, if there is any dust or debris floating around in the water from the substrate, you can easily just dump this in. It's going to act as a coagulant, get it to all stick together, or a flocculant, I guess it would be called. And then your filter media can pick it up pretty easily. Okay, so next up, I'm gonna go with the Sri Lanka substrate. I'm gonna probably start it off in the both of the back corners. I kind of want like a little sandbar in the middle of the tank and then across the front. So I'll get those guys in, then I'm gonna throw in the Blue Ridge on top of it and mix it together. And then I'll use the last bag of sand to top off areas where I think I could use a little bit more sand. So basically, I'm not under the delusion that this isn't going to get all messed up over time by the fish sifting through the sand or moving the substrate around and through gravel cleaning and stuff in the future. So I'm just kind of mixing it all together regardless. I'm going to keep the majority of the sand at the front and the middle for now, but I know it's going to end up all over the place. So I'm kind of just facilitating that right from the get-go, because honestly, in nature, things aren't clear-cut like that anyways. You're not going to have like a perfectly straight line where you've got sand and substrate, unless there's some kind of water current or whatever creating that. So I'll let the environment kind of dictate what happens to the gravel in the long run. I'm just kind of setting the stage for where I'd like it to start off. So like I was saying, mixing these three substrates together, we're gonna tie in quite well with the background colors. And you can see that I've actually achieved that quite well. I'm really happy with that. I actually don't like using too much gravel or substrate in the tank either, especially if I'm not putting plants or something in it. It just makes it a little bit easier to clean. So I've got a good amount in the front already as far as sand goes. So I'm only going to top off a little bit more with the other 50-pound bag of sand. And I think then we're going to call it a day. We can move on to the faux stones. I'm thinking I'm going to stick the biggest stone on this side, maybe just in front of this panel, because this panel has the least amount of texture at the bottom. That one's got a ton of texture at the bottom, so I don't want to hide that. And then I'll take the two smaller stones and stick them on that side, perhaps. See what happens. Of all the driftwood I picked up, this is the largest piece and also my favorite piece. It's got a lot of different shapes going on here. It's got a very large, thick branch that looks all interwoven, which I think is really fantastic. It's also got a lot of different size thicknesses for branches, including these tiny little ones, which I think look great as well. Adds that little bit of crazy realism I was talking about. And it's got some rocks embedded in it. Who doesn't like embedded rocks? So I'm going to try to sneak this guy into the left corner, maybe with the thick part of the driftwood here resting between the stones. Let's give it a shot. I actually like that. I like how the branch here is wrapping around the stone a bit. It almost looks like it's wedged in there. Either it grew around it or it died, and then that rock is what stopped that driftwood from going downstream. I like to make up stories while I'm aquascaping. It helps me visualize how this could have happened in nature. I'm such a nerd. I think it's looking a little shy up top on this side, so I'm gonna try to stick this piece of driftwood in there as well. Hopefully it'll look like they're one and the same, so one large piece of wood. And I think I might move the smaller faux stone a little bit further out and maybe even a little bit more forward or a little bit more backwards. So far, I'm actually pretty happy with how the left side of the tank is looking. I get a lot of the driftwood's highlights that I really liked, including some of the embedded rock. I can see it. It does look like one pretty big piece of wood to me instead of two smaller pieces. And the placement of the rocks now looks pretty spot on with what I was hoping to achieve. The right side of the tank's still really naked, and I'm gonna use some more driftwood, I think, but not quite as much as I used on this side, and definitely not come up as high or not as far out into the tank, trying to stick with that rule of thirds thing that I heard about on the internet. So here we go. This is actually another really nice piece. It's got some embedded rock and stuff in it as well. So I'm gonna see if I can put it in this side forward and catch some of that nature-y goodness. Not quite where I'd like it to be. I'm gonna have to play with that side a little bit more. I think this is going to take a while. I need a moment to stand back and figure this out. Well, I can't seem to find a way that I really like for the right-hand side's driftwood to sit. So I am now playing with the faux wood to see if I can mix it in with the real driftwood to achieve the look I am so desperately trying to achieve. I have my doubts, only because the faux wood is very different than real wood. It looks a lot more weathered, but if I can make it happen, then I shall make it happen. So far it seems that I cannot make it happen, but it was worth a shot. You know what? I don't hate it. I think I'm gonna sit on this for a while. I might change it after the tank's full, I'm not sure. But I actually kind of like the way that's sitting now. So I'm gonna see if I can get the faux wood in there and then maybe work on some stones some real like river rocks to go in and amongst everything. So let's see what I can pull out of a hat now. I'm not really feeling a good spot for this. As much as I like this faux wood ornament, it's just not sitting anywhere in this scape very comfortably. So I think I might omit it for now. And if I see an opening for it in the future, I may put it in. But right now it's just a point of frustration. So I'm just gonna take this and go away. The right side's still a little bit bland for me. Something about this little nook I've got here is bothering me a little bit. I don't like that I can see straight through this hole to the back there. But I'm gonna try playing with some of those river rocks and see if I can fix this up. We'll go from there, which is always where I go from. How can something so natural sit so unnaturally? Why won't you just help me, help you, help the tank, help the fish? I'm going to make you smaller if you don't start fitting. The sticks don't like me, they don't do what I want. That's as much fiddling as I have in me for the day. So like I said, I'm gonna just sit on it. I don't hate it, but let's see how I feel in a couple days. Next time you see it, it might be different. Probably not, but maybe. Well, we've got the aquarium fully decorated. I think it looks pretty awesome. I mean, I'm never 100%, and sometimes I move stuff around, but I'm pretty content with how it looks right now, so I'm gonna leave it the way it is. Episode 9's coming up, and we gotta tie up some loose ends. Really important stuff. FX6 tubes aren't on the tank right now. Had to move them because of the background. I'll find a new spot for those. I've made some upgrades that I'll show you guys as well. We gotta get some heating on this tank. I've gotta get the media in the sump, and we gotta fill it up with water, get some water conditioner in there, and let it simmer for episode 10, which is gonna be the fish, which is the exciting and fun part that we've all been waiting for from the beginning of the series. But in the meantime, if you guys have any questions at all regarding the decor we used or anything else in this series up to this point, drop that down in the comment section or reach out to us on social media like Facebook or Twitter. And please smash that subscribe button because we are this close to the end of the series and it's gonna be the most epic part. And if you missed that part because of a lack of subscription, that would just be heinous and terrible. And I just don't want that for you. You know, I want you to keep on tanking with me here with this build and the next build and your build and some other commenter's build. We should all get together and tank as one. I'm gonna make it happen somehow. But for now, 265.